I've been thinking.
Ah, excellent. I was hoping our conversations would challenge your faculties.
Wrathion. He cared so much about the threat of the Legion. But where was he? He never aided anyone.
Ah, but the Black Prince was fighting a different threat. A more insidious one. One that required tact more than force. This will be the last of our lessons, my friend. I hope it will prove insightful to you. Now, let us begin. Today we start not with Wrathion, but rather with the fate of one of his last remaining kin, Abyssian. Although Abyssian had been born free from the whispers of corruption, and he had withstood the dark influence once before, the might of the newly freed old god was too much, even for him, and Abyssian's mind was set upon by N'Zoth. None had an answer for Abyssian's plight, but there was one who remained free from the whispers, Wrathion, the Black Prince. But finding the elusive Black Dragon was no easy task. As fate would have it, Wrathion left behind a journal for the eyes of his champions only that detailed his journey across Azeroth. His journey first began in the ruins of Eldrathlas. Here, the Black Prince was impressed by what remained of the Shandryn's vast library, but lamented the lost knowledge consumed by thousands of years of conflict and strife. Was war worth the price? Perhaps not so readily as he had once thought. Next, he returned to Pandaria, where he learned the lessons from both the Lawwalkers and the Shadowpan on how to combat the influence of dark forces. However, Wrathion sought for more than a way to keep them at bay. He wished to defeat them entirely, and so turned to the Forge of Origination. But in search of this knowledge, dedicated protectors barred his way, and he realized he needed another source, almost as ancient. He needed the Aspects. As you can imagine, with little reason to trust him, they turned him away. But young Wrathion was not angered as he once might have been. Instead, with resignation, he accepted their decision. The journal ended with his discovery of a cure in the library of Karazhan, a potion capable of cleansing a small amount of old god corruption and silencing the whispers. But Wrathion was not alone in the library, joined there by the lingering echo Medivh himself. Wrathion and Medivh conversed at length, Medivh returning to aid the world against the forces he himself failed to contain. Through Medivh, Wrathion saw his own desire to make up for past mistakes and create for his flight a worthy legacy, to end the threat of the old gods. Knowing the journal would eventually lead the heroes to Karazhan, Wrathion prepared the potion for Abyssian and departed, for dark forces were already on the rise, and Wrathion rushed to speak with an old friend. Wrathion arrived in the city of Stormwind, where his welcome was... High King Anduin blamed the prince for the outcome of their last meeting, which ultimately led to the death of his father, King Varian Rin. Though regretful, Wrathion steeled himself for the true nature of his visit. N'Zoth the Corruptor, now free from his prison, was nowhere to be found. But Wrathion knew of the old god's insidious nature, waiting to strike with madness and fear as he brought the realm of Ny'alotha ever closer to reality. Despite their history, Wrathion's words were ultimately heeded, and Magni, the Speaker of Azeroth, went with his champions to the Forge of Origination, where N'Zoth's forces had infiltrated. However, It was here they learned the forge could be a weapon to use against the old god. But such a weapon would require a physical anchor to reach its target, requiring someone to physically enter N'Zoth's domain. Such a feat could only lead to madness. But madness is precisely what Wrathion had learned to combat. In the depths of Blackwing Descent, the Black Prince discovered another plot of N'Zoth, the corrupted resurrection of his long-dead kin, Onyxia and Neltharion, the progeny of Deathwing.
Enough! You cannot break me like you broke my father!
Impudent dragon! All of your kind will bow before N'Zoth!
Let us bring this to an end! I will not allow my Dragonflight to be corrupted again. Neltharion's and Onyxia's remains must be destroyed. Their scales, at least, will aid us in protecting Azeroth.
With these scales, Wrathion forged yet another cloak and bolstered it with knowledge taken from visions of a void-corrupted Azeroth. Once purified, the cloak would be known as Ashra Kamas, Shroud of Resolve, and serve as a ward to protect the sanity of its wearer. But Wrathion himself had no such protection. When at last the champions reached the first enemy, they found themselves facing the Black Prince, now a servant to the old god.
N'Zoth has shown me the inevitable truth that to save Azeroth, we must accept his gift.
Kneel and serve. It is the only way.
No, wait. That wasn't this timeline. Apologies. In truth, their enemy was an agent of N'Zoth, using the form of the Black Prince to weaken their resolve. The real Wrathion never fell to madness, and joined the champions deep into N'Zoth's realm. There they encountered old friends and foes, all serving or captive of the old god. Wrathion recovered a blade here, one that originated from the time of the Black Empire, Xal'atath, which would prove instrumental not much later, when the heroes descended upon the very carapace of the mountainous old god.
To use the Chamber's weapons against N'Zoth, we need to get inside his husk. Leave this part to me. After all, dramatic entrances are my specialty.
But even here, heroism did not falter, as the heroes of the Alliance and Horde pushed onwards towards the final battle against N'Zoth himself. Although Wrathion could not safely follow, the Black Prince's will bolstered their sanity in this hopeless confrontation. And just on the cusp of N'Zoth's victory, the Forge's re-origination ray pulsed to the heart of Ny'alotha and destroyed the last of the old gods, defeated, in part, by one of the very Dragonflight he corrupted.
He was right there for all of it? He defeated the old god?
Not alone, but yes. He risked everything for Azeroth. He cared more for our world than his own safety, as the Earthwarder once did.
I do not trust him. Not yet. But I'm willing to give him a chance to prove himself.
That is all I ask, my friend. That is all I ask.